Most people are soft, weak, programmed to stop it. I'm tired here, it's too hard. But here's the truth. Your limits are an illusion. A scam sold to you by a society that wants you average, pain, temporary. Fear, manufactured excuses, that's the language of losers.
You're not here to coast through life. You're here to dominate it. If you're not waking up hungry to win, you've already lost. That voice in your head telling you to rest, to quit, to slow down. That voice isn't your friend. It's the enemy. Kill it. You want freedom? Discipline? You want strength?
Struggle. You want power? Sacrifice. No one is coming to save you. There is no shortcut, no hack, just relentless effort day after day when nobody's watching. That's where the real growth happens. That's where your limits are shattered. You have two choices, live soft, I forgot. Or push past the pain, rise above the noise, and become unstoppable. Your move. Absolutely, here's an expanded version of Key Point #1. Comfort is a trap in 5 strong, straight-talking paragraphs, written in that same dominant, intense tone. Comfort is a trap.
It disguises itself as peace, but it's really just slow decay. The moment you choose comfort over challenge, you start dying in pieces. Doesn't come all at once. It's gradual, subtle. You hit snooze once, then again. Skip the gym one day, then a week. You say, I deserve a break. And before you know it, you've built a life around avoiding anything hard. You think you're resting. What you're really doing is weakening. The modern world is built to make you soft. Fast food, entertainment on demand, temperature-controlled everything. They've designed society so that you never have to feel a real struggle. But here's the danger. Comfort breeds entitlement. It makes you believe you're owed something just for existing. It kills hunger, and without hunger, you can't chase anything. A lion that eats every day in a cage forgets how to hunt. And when the cage door opens, it doesn't run free. It starves. People confuse happiness with ease. They think if life is easy, it's good. But the truth is, ease makes you restless. You start feeling empty because deep down, you know you were built for more than sitting around scrolling your phone and chasing dopamine hits. Humans are forged through adversity. The strongest men and women walk through fire, not because they love pain, but because they refuse to be tamed by comfort. They understand that real fulfillment only comes after you've suffered for something that matters. Comfort kills your edge. That edge, the one that pushes you to grind harder, think sharper, move faster. It dulls every time you choose the soft path. Every time you back off a challenge, you train your brain to associate safety with retreat. Before long, discomfort becomes terrifying. You won't even take a step unless it's guaranteed to be smooth. And that's when you've already lost. Because the battlefield of life has no smooth terrain. It's brutal, unforgiving, and dominated by those who stay sharp. You have to rewire yourself to crave the uncomfortable. You have to teach your body and mind to thrive in the storm, not wait for sunshine. Cold showers, heavy lifts, early mornings, hard conversations. This is the training ground. It's how you build resilience. Because comfort won't teach you how to survive when life hits you in the mouth. Only pain, challenge, and struggle can do that. And if you avoid those, you're not avoiding discomfort. You're avoiding strength. You're dodging the very process that builds the beast you claim you want to be. Limits are lies. They don't come from your body. They come from your mind. You've been conditioned since birth to believe there's a line you shouldn't cross, a wall you can't break through. But here's the truth. 99% of the time, when you think you're done, you're not even close. That feeling of I can't go anymore isn't real. It's just your brain panicking, trying to protect you from a little pain. And most people listen to that lie like it's gospel. That's why they never break through. That's why they stay average. Your brain is wired for survival, not greatness. It's programmed to keep you safe, conserve energy, avoid risks. But that primal system doesn't understand ambition. It doesn't care about goals. It just wants comfort, predictability, and safety. So every time you try to level up, whether it's in the gym, in business, or in life, that voice kicks in. This is too much. Take it easy. You've done enough. That's not reality. That's your brain begging you to settle. And if you listen, you train yourself to quit early every single time. The top 1%, they don't have superpowers. What they have is the ability to override that inner voice. They hear the same lies, the same fear, the same doubt, but they don't obey it. They treat that voice like an opponent. And every time they keep going when it says to stop, they land another punch. That's how mental toughness is built. Not through comfort, not through feeling good, but through war. A war inside your own head, where every rep, every step, every sacrifice is a refusal to believe in limitations. Think about the greatest things you've ever accomplished in your life. None of them came easy. They all required you to push beyond what you thought was possible. You probably surprised yourself. You probably thought, oh damn, I didn't know I had that in me. That right there, that's proof. Proof that your limits were never real. They were just boundaries you accepted because you hadn't tested them yet. The more you test them, the more they stretch. Eventually, what once broke you becomes warm-up. The problem is, most people don't test any. They stop at discomfort and label it as on the edge. But the edge isn't real until you've broken yourself and kept moving anyway. That's when you meet the real version of you. The version that doesn't care about what's a too hard or a too much. That version doesn't deal in excuses. That version understands one thing. The only limit that exists is the one you refuse to challenge. And if you never push it, it becomes your reality by default. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is a burst, a spark. It feels good, but it burns out fast. It's that temporary high you get after watching a hype video or hearing a powerful speech. You feel unstoppable for an hour, then it fades. Life hits, you get tired. The fire dims. And now what? If all you've got is motivation, you're screwed. Because success doesn't care how you feel. It only cares what you do, consistently, relentlessly, whether you're inspired or not. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the machine. It shows up rain or shine. It doesn't need hype, applause, or energy. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't care if you're sore, sad, bored, or busy. It just executes. Discipline says, get up, do the work, finish it. No questions asked. You want to be great? Get addicted to showing up when it's boring. When it sucks, when no one's watching. That's where real strength is forged. When it's just you versus your excuses, you don't flinch. People love the idea of grinding when they're fired up. But what separates winners from dreamers is what happens when the fire dies. When the fire dies. Are you still putting in the reps when your mood tanks? Are you still pushing forward when nothing feels worth it? Because that's the true test. Motivation gets you started. Discipline finishes the job. The results you want? They're sitting on the other side of days you don't want to show up. The more you show up without feeling like it, the more unstoppable you become. Look around. Everyone's waiting to feel like it. That's why they never change. They say, I'll start Monday. I need to get in the right headspace. Or, I just haven't been motivated lately. Weak language. That's how average people talk. High performers? They don't wait for motivation. They manufacture momentum. They set non-negotiables. They create systems. They run their lives like a mission, not a mood. That's discipline. You don't skip. You don't whine. You just execute. Here's the cold truth. If your goals rely on motivation, they're already dead. You need routines so solid, so locked in, that they happen no matter what. You think soldiers wait to be motivated to train? You think champions skip practice when they're tired? No, they run on discipline, structure, and purpose. You want to break past limits? Start by making discipline your foundation. Not a tool, not a strategy, a lifestyle. A lifestyle because when the feelings fade, and they always do, discipline is the only thing left standing. No one is coming. Let that sink in. No mentor, no millionaire, no savior showing up to drag you out of your rut and hand you the life you want. You've been fed this fantasy since childhood. Someone will discover your talent. Someone will fix your problems. Someone will give you a chance. It's a lie. Life doesn't reward the passive. It doesn't hand out trophies for potential. The world only responds to action. If you're sitting around waiting to be saved, understand this. You're wasting time, and time is the one thing you can never get back. The harsh reality is, nobody cares about your problems as much as you do. And they should. Everyone's fighting their own battles. You think life is unfair? You're right, it is. Crying about it won't change anything. You've got two options. Stay on the ground or get up and start swinging. Success is your responsibility. Happiness is your responsibility. Your mindset, your body, your income, yours. No handouts, no shortcuts. You either build the life you want or die with regret. Period. People wait. They wait for signs, for support, for permission. Stop. Nobody's going to give you a green light. You have to move even when the path isn't clear. You have to act when you're scared, tired, uncertain. You think the greats waited for a perfect moment? They made their moments. They kicked down doors that weren't open. They built skills in the dark, with no applause, no cheerleaders, just grit. That's what separates the doers from the dreamers. That's what makes someone dangerous, when they realize they don't need anyone to believe in them to go all in. The moment you take full ownership of your life is the moment everything changes. Blame dies. Blame dies. Excuses die. You stop pointing fingers at your parents, your boss, your environment, your past. You stop complaining and start controlling. You want to be elite? You want to live life on your terms? Then start acting like it. Everything you want requires work. More than you think, and harder than you've ever done. But the reward, it's freedom. It's knowing you built this with your own two hands, that no one gave it to you and no one can take it away. Most people don't fail because they're weak. Because they're weak. They fail because they're waiting for the economy to improve, for motivation to strike, for someone to notice them. Wake up. That waiting is the enemy. It's paralysis disguised as patience. If you want something, anything, get aggressive, get focused, move now. Take messy action. It won't be perfect. You'll fall on your face. But at least you'll be moving. Because if you're not moving forward, life will move on without you. And it doesn't look back. Pain is the path. And most people will do anything to avoid it. That's why they stay stuck. That's why they stay soft. Pain is the price of evolution. And if you're too afraid to pay it, you'll never grow. You want to be stronger, smarter, more successful? Good. It's going to hurt. That discomfort you're running from. That's the exact signal you're moving in the right direction. Pain is the enemy. It's the doorway. You just haven't had the guts to walk through it yet. You think the grind is supposed to feel good? It's not. It's supposed to break you. It's supposed to test your will, expose your weaknesses, burn away all the parts of you that don't belong at the next level. And yeah, it sucks. But that's the point. You don't build mental armor in comfort.
You don't develop resilience when things are easy. Pain forces you to focus, to adapt, to harden the hell up. You want mental toughness? Then stop avoiding the struggle and walk straight into it like it owes you something.
People talk like pain is punishment. Wrong. Pain is payment. It's the currency of progress. Every rep you grind out while your muscles scream, every hour you work while your brain begs for rest, every setback you take on the chin and keep moving, those are deposits into the account of greatness. You don't pay with talent. You don't pay with luck. You pay with blood, sweat, and the type of sacrifice that would make the average person quit in the first 10 minutes. That's the level it takes. Look at anyone you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, fighters, they didn't get there avoiding pain. They got there by embracing it, using it, needing it. Pain became their compass. Most people flinch the moment they feel pressure. Winners lean in because they understand. Every scar is a story. Every hardship is a lesson. Every painful moment is a stepping stone to the next version of themselves. If you're still running from pain, you're running from the very thing that's trying to shape you. This is where people get exposed. When it burns, when it breaks, when it bruises, that's when you find out who you really are. Not when it's easy. Not when you're hyped. When everything feels heavy and you still don't stop, that's where character is carved. You don't rise without the resistance. You don't level up without the pressure. And if it doesn't hurt a little, it's not real growth. So yeah, pain is the path. And the sooner you accept that, the faster you'll become something no one can break. Do the hard things, not because it's trendy, not for a pat on the back. Do them because they build you. The hard things, the early wake-ups, the cold workouts, the brutal grind when your body says stop, those are the things that sharpen you into something dangerous. Everyone wants the result. Few are willing to walk through the fire. But here's the truth. The fire is the price. The hard things are the test. You can't fake grit. You can't fake hunger. Either you lean into the pain and grow from it, or you fold like the rest and talk about it trying. The hard things separate the talkers from the doers. Everyone talks big when it's comfortable. I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna start that business. I'm changing my life. Cool. Now let's see what you do when it's 5 a.m. You're tired, you're sore, and no one's watching. That's the moment that defines you. Not your goals, not your dreams, not your social media captions. The grind, the silence, the repetition. That's where killers are made. Not in the light, but in the shadows. While the world is sleeping, you're working. You don't rise by doing what's easy. That's how you stay average. You rise by running toward resistance. You rise by saying yes to the stuff nobody else wants to do. You lift when you're exhausted. You read when your brain is fried. You practice when you're already behind. Why? Because that's where the edge is. The edge lives in the reps most people skip. You want to be uncommon? Do what common people avoid. That's the equation. That's the blueprint. You do hard things until they become your baseline. Comfort is loud. It screams for your attention. It says, you've earned a break. You've done enough. But discipline whispers. And it whispers only to the few who are actually listening. The ones who don't need hype. The ones who don't need company. The ones who wake up, show up, and never let the standard slip. Even when it hurts. Even when it's boring. Even when it feels impossible. That's who makes it. Not the talented, not the lucky, the relentless, the ones who do the hard things even when no one claps for them. Most people avoid hard things because they're scared of failure, scared of not being good enough, scared of looking weak. But here's the paradox. You become strong by doing the things that expose your weakness. Every struggle is feedback, every setback is data, and every hard thing you overcome stacks another layer of armor on your back. So yeah, do the hard things, not to prove them wrong, not to impress anyone. Do it to prove to yourself that nothing owns you. Not fear, not fatigue, not failure, only the mission. The inner voice is weak. That little whisper in your head, the one that tells you to rest, to give up, to take it easy, that's not you. That's the coward inside. The version of you that wants to survive, not win. It wants you average, it wants you hidden, it wants you comfortable and obedient. And most people, they listen to it like it's truth, like it's wisdom. They don't question it, they obey it. That's why they stay small. That's why they never break out. They think that voice is protecting them. It's not, it's controlling. You have to understand, your mind doesn't want you to be great. It wants to keep you safe. It's still stuck in survival mode. The second things get hard, it screams, I back off. It's scared of failure, scared of pain, scared of uncertainty. So it lies. It says, you've done enough. Not this isn't worth it. You're not ready. You hear that voice every single day. The difference between the strong and the weak? The strong don't listen. They hear it and move anyway. That voice gets quieter every time you... Here's the truth. That inner voice only has power if you give it authority. It can't stop your legs from running. It can't keep your hands from working. It can't physically pull you away from your goals. All it can do is talk. And if you haven't trained yourself to shut it down, it will run your entire life. It will turn you into a slave to emotion. Discipline dies. Focus dies. And then what's left? Regret. Regret because you knew what you needed to do. But you let a voice in your own head bully you into doing nothing. You have to become louder than the doubt. You have to dominate the conversation in your own mind. When it says a stop, you say go. When it says you can't, you say, oh, watch me. You replace hesitation with execution. You shut it up with action. Because once you realize that voice isn't real power, it's just noise. You stop fearing it. You start crushing it. Every time you override it, your true self, your stronger self, starts rising. And eventually, that weak voice, it knows it's not in charge anymore. That's when you become dangerous. When your mind tries to slow you down and you don't even flinch. When you hear the same excuses that used to paralyze you, and now you move faster. That's mental dominance. That's the weapon most people never build. They keep waiting to feel ready, to feel confident, to feel fearless. Forget that. You'll never feel fully ready. That voice will always be there. But if you want to win, you've got to bury it with discipline, drown it with action, and break it with repetition. Until your mind finally realizes you're the one in charge now. You are what you tolerate. That's not just a statement, it's a law. Whatever you allow in your life, you become. You tolerate laziness? Don't be surprised when mediocrity shows up. You tolerate excuses? You'll start making them for everything. You let low standards slide? Eventually, they become your default. The truth is, your results are a mirror of your standards. You don't get what you want. You get what you accept. And if your life looks like a mess, it's because you've tolerated too much for too long. Every single day, you're making silent agreements with yourself. You hit snooze, that's an agreement. You skip the gym, that's another one. You let your nutrition slide, your work ethic drop, your focus scatter. That's not a bad day. That's you agreeing to stay average. Most people walk through life completely unaware that they've made mediocrity their baseline. And then they wonder why nothing changes. It's not magic. It's not fate. It's a lack of standards and the unwillingness to enforce them with action. Look at the killers, the top dogs, the ones who dominate in their space. You think they tolerate weakness in themselves? You think they make room for half-effort, sloppy routines, or emotional decisions? No. They treat their lives like a battlefield and they guard their standards like armor. If something doesn't meet the level, it gets cut. Period. That applies to habits, relationships, thoughts, everything. You want to raise your life? Raise your tolerance for pain, lower your tolerance for anything that drags you backward. The problem is tolerating something feels harmless at first. Skip one workout. Nothing breaks. Procrastinate for a day. The world doesn't collapse. But that's how it sneaks in. Slowly. Silently. Until weakness becomes familiar. Until excuses feel justified. You won't even notice how far you've drifted until you wake up one day wondering where your edge went. It didn't disappear. You gave it away, piece by piece. Every time you tolerated something you should have crushed on the spot. If you want to be elite, you have to become ruthless with your boundaries. Ruthless with your time. Ruthless with your self-talk. You have to train yourself to reject anything that doesn't serve the mission. That includes people, habits, thoughts, and patterns. The higher you rise, the less tolerance you should have for things that weaken you. Your standards should scare people. They should make average minds uncomfortable. That's how you know you're operating at a level most people can't even comprehend. No one's coming. No one owes you a thing. Your comfort is your cage. Your limits are lies. Discipline is your only weapon. And pain is the toll you pay to become who you were born to be. That weak inner voice, silence it. The excuses, kill them. Raise your standards so high that average people can't even stand being around you. This world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. You don't rise by talking. You rise by doing. Every single day. When it's hard. When it's lonely. When it hurts. That's where you separate. That's where you build. That's where legends are made. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Get up, lock in, push past your limits, and never ever look back.